Hi, Des. This is
Hi.
Hal from Metal Temple Magazine, calling you from Israel. How are you?
Good. How are you doing today?
Good, thank you. Good. All is well. So, Des, this February 8th, Devil Driver is going on a North American tour, your first headlining tour in over 3 years, with Death Angel, Wings of Flag, the agonist Ezreal. What else can you tell me about it? Who chose the band?
This is going to be a good time, man. Well, look, you know what you do when you go on tours. You say, hey, Devil Driver's going out. Who wants to go with us? And we got a bunch of submissions. And when I saw Death Angel on there, I was like, okay, perfect main support. And then from there, they said, they sent the Agonist and Winds of Plague and Azrael over. I said, hey, this is going to make for a great bill. And we went from there.
Okay. Is it still exciting whenever you go on tour, or does it ever, become a routine, after 2-3 weeks of being on the road? Does it ever get boring?
No, not boring for me. You're either built for the road or not, and I love the road. I love being on the road. So the routine is actually the good part for me. The first week is always the hardest. Once we're in the routine, it's the best. You're on autopilot. The shows become even tighter. Everything really kind of goes as planned, and I'm excited for this run.
Also, as it comes to your own physical state as a musician, you mean, playing, you get more used to it, and then you're more focused.
Yeah, everything gets more used to. You get more used to, the set list that you're doing, the stages, the time you're going on at night. You get used to everything the more it goes on. So I'd say about 2 or 3 days in, we get really, really fired. I see. Yeah.
And what does Devil Driver's special request list for tours include? What do you guys ask to have for drinks and pizzas and candies? What else do you have there?
We get a sum of money to go purchase what we want, and we send a runner out to go get food. And most of us eat pretty healthy, and we do pretty healthy. I mean, we get the case of beer on the rider for the guys who drink. I'm sober, I don't drink, but for the guys who drink, and then the obvious food and after show food, etc. But there's no okay, we need M&Ms with the green ones taken out or anything like that.
Okay, so Des, I really want to ask you. The U.S. had a few very crazy days, I think. What do you make of all of it? What were things like over there with the marches? And they asked Devil Driver to ask at the Donald Trump's inauguration, would you do it?
Nope.
Okay, expand, please.
And not out of disrespect for the office, or even disrespect for him as the president, because he is the president at this point. I just this is the first election since I was 18 years old that I did not vote.
Really?
And I just felt like as much as it is a right to vote, it's also you have the right not to vote. And I couldn't get behind either one of the candidates. However, I mean, Trump's stance on bringing jobs back to America, et cetera, that works for me. His stance on Israel, actually, from what I'm familiar with, and I'm not a political person, so keep that in mind. But I believe his stance on Israel is much better than Obama. Correct? I mean, I'm not sure, but am I correct in assuming that?
I'd say it depends on perspective. Someone who's very well, who's okay with the Israeli establishment would say that Trump is better for Israel than Obama. But it really does depend, I'd say.
Right. Okay. So now I come back to this. I'm a musician. I'm not political. Political statements are far out of my bounds, and I'm not. I don't have enough information on any of this topic to even bring to the table anything intelligent.
Yeah. Okay. No. Well, come on. Well, your opinion is still important to me, but yeah, that's fine. No worries. I respect that.
Listen to me. Honestly, opinions with musicians when it comes to when it comes to politics, they just get them in trouble so much. And I strive to be a unifier, in what I do. So my opinion, and I've been asked about this a lot. It's just that I didn't vote this year. I couldn't get behind either one of the candidates, and we'll have to see what really happens in the next coming years.
I see. Okay. So back to the music, Dev. So Trust No One, Devil Driver's seventh song play, full album, has been out for a little over than half a year now. I believe May 2016 it was released. And I know it's been doing very well, reaching even number 43 on Billboard's Top 200 chart. So has the album sunk in for you personally? Do you think it's an important stamp in Devil Driver's discography so far?
Yeah, actually, we debuted number 16 on the Billboard Top 200.
Wow, I've only heard. Wow, okay. So my apologies.
Yeah.
I'm correcting that.
Yeah, so it's the highest debut and the most we've sold on a record. And I think because we've got a fan base that stays with us because we have an evolution. If you listen to any of our music, listen to the different records, you'll get a signature sound, but we definitely move forward on every single record and have an evolution both in the styles of songs that we're doing and the things that we're bringing to the table. So I think that really part and parcel had a big deal to do with the debut. And you got to understand that we're debuting that high in America without any kind of active radio song. That's like an incredible thing for heavy metal. So we're real proud of it.
Okay. And so what is the process, the writing process? What does it look like for you? Like, what do you do when you usually get them used, or what gets you inspired?
You know, everybody kind of goes their own separate ways and writes riffs and everything, and then the musicians come together and start formulating what they think they're going to do. They forward me demos, and I say, hey, this is a good direction. This is definitely not a direction we want to go. We all have so many styles that we individually listen to that when we bring it to the table, it's not always what is good or what Devil Driver would do. And I think that in itself is a really fundamental thing for us that works in our favor, because we're constantly, when we write, automatically jumping out of the box. And we have to bring ourselves back in the box a little bit, which is a great thing. When you try to define us, it's a hard thing to do because we do listen to so many influences. So they bring me the demos. I tell them what I like, what I don't. By the time we really start narrowing down 5 to 6 songs, everybody is really well aware of where we're going to be going with this next record. They start writing even more. I take anywhere from 15 to 22 songs, narrow it down to 10, 11, 12 songs. I start writing. It can either come quickly or it can come slowly. I tend to write very early in the morning, like 4:30 in the morning till like 8:39 in the morning. That's my favorite time. It's the quietest time on earth. Everybody is sleeping. Nobody's up. You can feel the energy through the air for a writer is just going all over the place because it's so silent out, you know. And then from there we narrow it down. I do voice notes to what I'm doing. We have a lot of conversation with the producer, go back and forth with him usually, and then we go in and we record.
Okay, and have you even begun writing like new material? Are you like one of those musicians who records ideas and riffs on your phone and write lyrics on napkins and stuff like that? Like, is it something that's constantly happening?
I write daily, and so do the other guys. When I said to, the record is not even a year old. I believe it's about 8 months old or something like that. And I said to Neil, my guitar player, I said, hey, when should we start thinking about looking at new songs? And he's like, oh man, I got like 10 written already. So
okay,
we all really. I mean,
that's good news.
If you enjoy what you do, you never work a day in your life. And I love to write music, and so do my guys.
Okay, and tell me, guys, what are you listening to these days? Anything interesting? Right now, because I've been off the road, I've really been listening to some like just chill music and stuff, or a lot of old punk rock like Black Flag and the Germs and Circle Jerks and stuff like that. But I found a band called Kavakon, Kavakon, that's really out there. Okay. Almost trippy, chill, tiki, trippy music. Really cool stuff. And then, music plays a large part of my life, and I listen to various different bands, and I listen to a total variation throughout the day of styles. I mean, I could go from listening to Black Flag to Black Sabbath to, right before I go to bed, listening to Billie Holiday, or, go into listening to like things like Bauhaus and Susie and the Banshees. I mean, I love all music, and that's always been something with me. I mean, I play metal, but then again, I'm not a purist. hmm Well, actually, I have read like the road playlist you've shared, Metal Insider, just the other day, and all your road playlist is packed with oldies and classics. So is it possible that you just can listen to distorted guitars while you're off stage but on tour or whenever?
You know, that playlist is just kind of like a, you know, hey, what would you play if you were going down the road? You know, or what would you play if you're in the back lounge kind of kicking it?
Okay.
You know, I could have packed that list through, you know, full of metal, but you would see right through me, you know, because I listen to so many variations of metal. And I'm honestly, I'm the guy that's always been a proponent of not being so pure in your taste. You know, a lot of metal fans like, that's all I listen to is metal, you know, and so I'm always the guy that goes on stage with like a Johnny Cash shirt or, you know, in my playlists, you know, I put outlaw country, funk, you know, old classic rock, all sorts of different stuff, you know.
Okay. And what do you make of the American metal scene these days? I mean, people say that, you know, after the 80s, there was a sort of setback until more or less you guys came along with the generation of bands like Lamb of God and Machine Head, etc. So what do you think, who do you think deserves the spotlight these days, like as it comes to being fresh and very potent?
Oh, I think it's totally fresh. Totally fresh. I think there's a lot of bands out there doing heavy things, doing diverse things. There's bands that have been around for a while that are trying to mess with their sound a little bit, you know. I mean, like even a Suicide Silence, you know, like going kind of out of the box for themselves and trying to move forward with their sound. I mean, I applaud it. So there's a lot of really great metal out there right now, and I'm inspired by the scene. I am a guy who has got my ear to the ground, and most of the time I hear bands way before they get record deals. I'm familiar with them. And this year, I've just kind of kept to myself, man, and just kind of listened to what I'm used to listening to, and I didn't want any new influences on me because I'm writing. So I'll do that a lot. Like I didn't hear the new Lamb of God record or the new Hatebreed record or a ton of records that came out a year or two ago because I was writing. And so I got to wait till I'm done recording and writing before I listen to new stuff because I don't want newer music to influence what I do.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Like with metal, always trying to sound as new as possible and not stealing ideas or like taking so much.
Right. I mean, I'm not even stealing. I mean, it'll come unconsciously. So, I mean, if I go listen to those records and I like something in my head, it'll come to me unconsciously. So what's really cool is when I get done with a record, I often have 5 or 6, 7 metal records that have been released, and I get to kick back on some Saturday and listen to a ton of music by my friends, you know, Lamb of God or Hatebreed or whoever, you know. And then I can call them and be like, dude, I finished my record. I just heard your stuff. Badass. You know what I mean? And sometimes they're like, dude, it's been out for 7 months. It's the first time you've heard it. I go, yeah, I got to keep myself in a bubble or it'll affect me.
Okay. So tell me, Devil Driver's lineup is relatively new, with Austin on drums in the band since 2015, Neil Tiemann on guitars more or less as well, 2015. So is it starting to take the form of a family? Like, how are the dynamics and chemistry within you guys, between the band, that is?
Well, it was, I mean, literally that's why the change is made, because there was no family element and just changes had to be made. I was hanging out with guys in a band for 10 years or plus that I just did not get along with, and I said, life is too short. Now, people need to know this. I was playing music with Neil. Him and I had a side project that we were writing songs for at the time, and I had known him for almost 2 or 3 years, and we had become really, really, really close friends, and his wife was very close friends with my wife, and we both have Harlequin Great Danes. I mean, there was just so much in common. And the first time I met Austin, he came to my house. Within 15 minutes, we were already so bonded and so close that I looked at my wife and said, God, I hope this guy works out, because his attitude is fantastic. And sure enough, I mean, they all really vibe together. I mean, Mike, when I put Austin and I put Neil in, Mike summed it up with one email. And I said, hey, how do you like getting along with the new guys? Are you getting along? Are you establishing relationships? And he hit me and just said, thank you. Thank you very much.
That's
so
awesome.
I was like, okay, wow. So yeah, there's a great camaraderie in Devil Driver. Once again, it almost feels like when the band first started. We're on our 7th record. It's the highest debuting record. I mean, we've been doing some cool tours. We just recently took a little bit of time off, obviously, for the holidays. but we're feeling good about the music and the friendship, and we're ready to get on the road.
Okay. So Des, you've played and toured with some massive musicians over the years, including Pantera and Black Sabbath. This tour, you'll be with Death Angel. How does it feel like after being so many years in the business? Did you grow up knowing you'd become a rock star who gets to rub shoulders with all the top players and gets to become one?
Right. That question, I mean, that question, I can sum it up like this. Basically, I ate, I lived, and I breathed music when I was younger. So I would fall asleep and wake up listening to the radio. I would come home, and instead of playing with my friends or watching TV, I would get into my parents' record collection and just play music all night long. I got my first tattoo when I was 15, and when my mom got pissed off at me, I told her, "Don't worry, I'm going to be, in a rock band."
Okay.
So I mean, now when until I get questions like this, I don't really look back and go like. But now, I mean, when I do get questions like this, and I have been a lot lately, I say to myself, I must have known it's all I really worked for. I was in punk rock bands and psychobilly bands, and I was going to rehearsals from the time I was 13, 14, 15 years old. I started off as a drummer. I mean, I've always loved music. Did I know it would have, I'd have 25 years, or 20, 3 years in the business, that I would make music with Ozzy Osbourne or Nikki Sixx or any of these people? No, I would have never have guessed. But here's the thing: if you love what you do and you stay true to it, and you keep doing just what you do, people are going to come to your art, whether you're a painter or you're a musician. So I'm very thankful for the time in music I've had, and I'm not a guy who gets jaded, meaning every time I meet somebody that's a hero of mine or I'm a fan of, I always go up to them and shake their hand and say, man, I'm a huge fan, or, God, it's so great meeting you, I've been very fortunate in my lifetime to meet all of my heroes. I mean, when I look back on, like I said, it takes a question like this to make me look back. So, now, thank you very much, because now I'm in the time tunnel,
Good. Enjoy pondering and thinking about all you've done so far. And tell me a bit tell me a bit about your relationship, your relationship with cannabis, please. Like, would you tell me about what that has to do with your personal life, and when did you start smoking cannabis?
Well, my parents, when I was younger, I have ADD when I was younger. I mean, I couldn't even sit still in class. But it's no wonder you put a child in class under big fluorescent light with a bunch of kids around him, and you expect him to learn. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. And my parents put me on Ritalin, which is a terrible drug. It destroys kids, man. And I found marijuana through my parents when I was 15. They went out of town. I got in their closet. I found their pot, started smoking, and realized that my grades went up. I didn't need the ADD medication anymore. Now, keep in mind, this is when marijuana was highly illegal in the United States.
Yeah, definitely.
Like you get, I went to jail. I went to prison for getting caught with marijuana. So
really, for how long?
I went in for a while. I mean,
really,
I went in for enough time to scare. I went in for enough time to scare the shit out of you.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I like to say. So, some people can handle a year, some people can only handle a day. But in there, no matter what, it scares the shit out of your soul as soon as you're locked up. So, look, it's good to see this recreational thing happen. I think it's wonderful for society. I think we don't need to cut down trees anymore. We can grow hemp, and we can have paper, and they can make wood for houses. The seeds are the highest protein on earth. I think the cannabis plant I know the cannabis plant is a healer of multiple things. You watch the kid online that has the epilepsy and the seizures, and he takes one hit of a joint, or they put a tincture under his mouth, or they give him an edible, a lozenge, and he immediately stops shaking, can have conversations. It's a cancer fighter for sure. I mean, it's known that it attacks cancer cells. So why isn't regulation all over the world happening if it's a healer of humanity and it's made by gods or the energy that created the planet? I don't know. I'll tell you why I think. I think big pharmaceutical money and people who have money invested in big pharmaceuticals, they'd rather have you taking 35 pills. You know, I watched my mom go through cancer, and I watched her smoke weed, and it stopped her nausea. She could eat. Like, I watched that plant heal her. You know, I'm watching my stepfather right now. He can barely move his right hand. He's, you know, in construction his whole life, and we'll get him this balm, and he puts this THC CBD balm all over his hands, and boom, he's picking up glasses, he's moving. Now, why aren't we pushing medical science to make this a reality for the whole planet, not just California or Washington, the whole planet? You know, here in the United States, we have a lot of farmers out of work. Put them all to work in hemp. You can make textiles, you can make wood, you can make paper, it's endless. You can run cars. It's endless, the properties of this plant. So this conversation would take another 2 hours, you know?
Yeah, I agree. But, amen to that. You know, I totally agree with you. And tell me, Des,
what's the stance in Israel? I mean, is it legal? Is it
in
illegal?
Israel? No, it's illegal, and there's still criminalization. I think that's the word for it, for if you're caught smoking. But, you know, it depends on how much you carry, because if you carry up until 5 grams, then they won't give you too much trouble, but they might take you to the station. Well, they'll probably take you to the station, and I don't know. They'll press charges, so that means I don't know.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what,
yeah.
man?
It's a legal procedure. It's a hassle. It's a big hassle, and it's a taboo as well. It's a social taboo.
I would think that your government would be much more forward thinking than that, and I would think that your youth would be standing up in such great numbers that they would take a look at this. I mean, I'm happy to help you, you know, get a march in order. Let's do it.
Hopefully. Okay, Des, I'll talk to you about it. Maybe we should arrange something. I'm sure people will be glad to listen to you more than they will to me, at least. Tell me, what movie would you say is best to watch while you're high?
Star Wars.
Star Wars, the first one, you mean? The first one.
My favorite. Yeah.
Okay. What did you think about the last one? Did you like it?
I love it. I thought
really?
It was fantastic. I thought it was, for me, it goes, the first one, you know, goes New Hope, it goes Empire Strikes Back. I hate Return of the Jedi. You could put that, the last movie that they just did, make that number 3, I would be so happy.
Okay.
I don't like the Ewoks. I don't like the Ewoks in Jedi, so, you know. But that's a great movie to watch when you're stoned.
Okay, tell me, Des, what did you think about the new Metallica record, Hardwired to Self-Destruct?
I think it's brilliant, and they're back.
They're back, right?
I haven't liked anything they've done in a very long time. I'm extremely glad that they found themselves again, and they're doing what they do best. And I'm really, really love this record. I haven't heard the whole record. I've only heard like 3 songs.
You love it. I'm sure you love it.
I'm current. Yeah, I do. I do love it. And you know what? Every time I've met the guys like James, and I know Robert very well. I've known Robert. I mean, you know, back when he got out of Suicidal, I've known Robert for so long. So they're great guys, and I'm really happy for them, man.
For my last question, Des, with which musician would you like to work with that you haven't already? It could be any genre, any, you know, whatever. Say what kind of music you like.
I can only tell you this. I'm getting ready to do something with so many guests on it, people are going to kind of freak out.
What else can you tell me about it?
And sometime, and it's going to, you know, I'm going to do it sometime between now and the next 10 years. And,
okay.
But here's, but you know, just to throw a loop in things. But here's the thing, like I would enjoy, and just because I know him as a person, and I really I admire him, and every time we've ever hung out, he's just been a really wonderful guy to me. But I'd like to do something with Manson. I think
Manson,
my
really?
voice and his. Yeah, and every time we've hung out, I mean, last time I just did some shows with him in Australia with Coal Chamber, and him and I were hanging out backstage for, a couple hours before the show. And I just thought, like, it would be real cool if him and I did something together for sure. Just our vocal tones, I think it would mesh, And I have as much darkness in my soul as him. I just got a little more maybe heavy metal happening or whatever. But, yeah, I admire the cat, and it would be cool to work with him for sure.
Yeah, I think that would blend. So from your answer, I can understand that you haven't approached him yet about this ambiguous release that you won't tell me anything about. It's due to release sometime in the next 10 years. Not yet. That hasn't happened yet.
First of all, I love the word ambiguous. It's the fucking greatest.
Well, I it's not my native language, so I just throw whatever comes out.
Yeah, but no, it's you totally hit it on the mark. I'm not making fun. I'm saying I do actually. I love the word ambiguous.
Okay.
I haven't hit him up, and I'm getting ready to go on a bunch of festivals. I'm going to see him this summer, so I'm definitely, I'll probably hit him up about doing something.
Okay, that's amazing to hear. I hope that'll eventually happen. So Des Fafara, Devil Driver, Cold Chamber, Endless Work. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you have a great tour. I'm sure your fans will. And yeah, so I can't wait to hear some new material whenever.
Yeah, thanks, man. I mean, we're I'm trying to get to Israel this year, man. I've never been.
Yes.
And
okay. Why?
I would love to come, man. I'm trying to get there this year is what I'm trying to do. I mean, I'm doing a lot of places I haven't done ever. Like I'm going to South Africa. I'm doing a lot of stuff that I haven't done, and Israel's like been on my list, man, since I started this gig. So I hope we can get over there soon.
Good. I'm hoping so too. There's a lot to see here. There's a lot to see, a lot to learn, and yeah, I'm sure you'll like it.
I mean, is there a big metal community?
There's a consistent one. It's been so for years. It's not too big, but it's very faithful. It's very loyal. It pays a lot of respect to metal artists coming, from abroad. We'll have Paradise Lost here next month for their 8th time ever. And we'll have Blind Guardian this year for the first time. So, yeah, it's a bit mixed up. It's a small scene, but it's, it has its...
Yeah, you know what, man? That Paradise Lost first record is amazing, man.
The new one, you
amazing.
Mean? The Plug Within.
Their very first one. I mean, I've only heard like first 1 or 2 records, but it's just a great band. He's got such a great voice, man.
Yeah,
it's a great band.
What else did you like that you listened to this? Okay, well, never mind. Okay, it's been more than enough.
All right. I'm looking forward to coming down, man. I hope we can make it happen.
Good. I'm hoping so too. Hit me up whenever you will. I'll introduce you to all the Israeli bands if you like them.
Yeah, cool, man. I appreciate it. You have a great day.
Thank you.